I was working 40 plus hours already. I was serious about it. So I went and I got all the information. I went to like Sherman Oaks where they have the health department out there, met with the supervisor, and she broke everything down. And then she asked me, she's like, what area of this business are you trying to do? And I was like, the tattoo industry. And she's like, that's really smart. And I was like, is no one doing this? She's like, no. She's like, only the big corporate companies. Mm-hmm. But nobody smaller in the industry has ever came up with this, ever. And I was like, well, this is probably a good idea. And so I brought it back to my wife, and she just ran with it from there.
Yeah.
I mean, she did all the footwork.
And we're back. Welcome to another episode of the IQ Project. I'm right here with my co-host, Ricky Tat.
What's up? What's up, people?
My co-host, Romeo Shades.
What's up?
1 year completing, right? Today. Yeah.
Today?
His anniversary.
Let's get him his present, bro.
Where's
Let's
those
get him his
mañanitas?
present.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
1 year as a tattoo artist?
Yep. That's
Today?
big. That's
February
big.
6th. Yeah.
6. Damn. Well, today we're interviewing an interesting person. Is M.A.G right here. Company M.A.G. Adam.
Adam, what's your last name, Adam? Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Adam Fausto. I own M.A.G Transportation Services with my wife, Gabriela. Mama G.
Mama G.
Yeah. So Adam, guys, interesting story we're gonna hear about, man. Very inspirational. His story, he's gonna tell, is gonna inspire us to like build relationships and why it's so important to continue relationships with people when you have a business. And he's gonna highlight a lot of points. We're gonna find out his story today. He's gonna tell us the struggles, the tribulations, the awards, achievements, the why, right?
And the struggles.
Everything.
Yeah. So let's get started, man. M.A.G Services is a service that we use for all our needles, and he'll tell you more about it. But let's get to know him. You know?
Definitely. It's I'm happy to be here.
Thanks.
It's a big thing. It's a very honored and humbled to be able to be
nervous?
a part of this podcast. A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
See what happens as soon as we say.
A little bit.
It's crazy, right? Like as soon as we say, "All right, action," everybody's like.
No, I was cool before that. You said action. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, bro.
First of all, thank you for the hat, bro.
No, thank you. Thank you.
I didn't get no fucking hat. Shit, bro. Shit, man. See what I'm saying? People.
You like Atlanta, bro?
It's al 100, fool. It's al 100. Hey, who remembers me from al 100? Back in the day.
Yeah.
All right. So, Adam, how did M.A.G Services start?
It started just.
Or tell us what. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Tell us what M.A.G Services is first.
M.A.G is we're establishing ourselves as the official sharps company for the tattoo industry as a whole. It's what we do. We service the tattoo industry, piercing shops, microblading. And it started as an idea. It literally just started as a thought in my head. I used to work for Kingpin Tattoo Supply.
Okay. That's where we met.
That's where they met. I want to, a lot of respect to them. I wouldn't have had this if it wasn't for them. All the people I met, all the people that I got connected with. It was a big thing to be able to work there and everything I learned.
How many years did you work there, bro?
Close to 9.
9 years?
Like 8-9 years, something like that. I was with them.
And essentially, you were driving shop to shop.
Last year I was there, I started driving shop to shop. I started just in the warehouse, just picking orders, just the normal everyday stuff. And then, 4 or 5 years in, I started going to conventions, and that really opened my eyes to like, this is what the tattoo industry is. It's not just the warehouse picking orders.
They had you in the warehouse because you had no tattoos, bro.
Yeah. But it just manifested from there. And then I started working the showroom, started learning the product, started learning everything about the tattoo industry, all the needle groupings, everything within the tattoo industry. And started working the showroom, met hundreds of artists, and just built relationships with them, just built that camaraderie and built that passion for the industry as a whole, and it just grew from there.
So how long did you have this idea for creating MAG?
Probably have had the idea for maybe about 3 months before I even brought it up to my wife. It was something that was in my head, but then I didn't think I could do it just because at the time I thought, oh, I just work for a warehouse.
Yeah.
I've only worked for a warehouse my entire life. I was like, to be honest, I thought this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I'm just going to clock in, clock out, work in the warehouse. This is me. Until a bunch of artists came in and they would buy sharps containers in the showroom. And then they would continue. Once you get really cool with the tattoo artists, they're willing to indulge you with a little bit more.
Yeah.
To be able to tell you a little bit more about everything, how they feel about the industry, about, anything in general. So they would come in, they would buy sharps containers along with all the other tattoo supplies, and then continue to tell me what they didn't like about their sharps company, and what they didn't like and what they did like, and it was bad. And from there, they would be like, Adam, you should start this. You know enough artists now. Adam, you should do this. You should do that. Until enough people told me over and over and over that I was like, maybe I could do this. So it just, from there, it just kind of grew.
That's cool. And where did the MAG come from? The M.A.G.
It was funny. It was I was walking around the warehouse, Kingpin, with one of my coworkers, and I had this idea, and it really was starting to sink in. Like, I really think I could do this.
Yeah.
And I just started throwing out ideas, and he was throwing out ideas. Like, what should we call it? What should I call it? And right now, it was just a thought. It was only a thought. And he was the one that was like, MAG actually sounds pretty cool. I was like, that actually does sound pretty cool. And then it actually was the initials of me, my wife, and my daughter.
Oh, dope.
And so I was like, it works out in so many different phases. So once I actually had the idea, I took it back to my wife, Mama G. Look her up on IG. And I gave her I was like, I think I'm able to do this. Like, I think we could do this. And me, the way I am, I'll come up with this idea and she'll be like, yeah, whatever. Because I never follow through with anything. Well, she's like, oh, yeah, another idea. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But she was like, all right, if you want to do this, if you think we could do this, you get all the paperwork. You get all the information that we need and bring it back to me, and we'll go from there. And probably in her mind, she just said, I just gave him something to do. Yeah. This idea is done. He's not going to do it. I was working 40 plus hours already, and I was serious about it. So I went and I got all the information. I went to like Sherman Oaks, where they have the health department out there, met with the supervisor, and she broke everything down. And then she asked me, she's like, well, what are you going to, like, what kind of business, what area of this business are you trying to do? And I was like, the tattoo industry. And she's like, that's really smart. And I was like, is no one doing this? She's like, no. She's like, only the big corporate companies. But nobody smaller in the industry has ever came up with this, ever. And I was like, well, this is probably a good idea. And so I brought it back to my wife, and she just ran with it from there.
Yeah.
I mean, she did all the footwork. I mean, I was like, I was working at Kingpin. I was doing all that 40 plus hours a week. So driving the van. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Did you have this idea like every day you were thinking about it? You're thinking about it? Yeah.
Ever since the light bulb went off, I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Isn't that crazy how you just think of that idea and you're like, I feel like once you have that idea and you're just thinking about it constantly, it's just up to you to take that action and actually do it to make it happen. Like you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do that. They just let the idea slide, and then the next person does it.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck, that could have been me. Yeah. Right?
I always say, for me, how lucky I am. It's hard work and stuff like that, but I'm lucky in the sense of nobody started this before me, because anybody could have, and that nobody really took that initiative and really started this. Because if they did, there's no room for me. There would have already been somebody that established themselves, already did that. and I think I got in the industry at the right time too, when cartridges started really being popular, and those are used so
Much.
much on such a wide scale, and you're using anywhere between 5 and 8, 9 per tattoo, depending on what kind of tattoo you're doing, and all those and off of one session is going to that box.
Why do you think people didn't do it? You think it's all the red tape they had to go through? Because I remember you telling me you had to go through a lot to get all your paperwork.
It was ready. I think my wife said took us close to a year, maybe a little bit more, to get licensed, because it was a lot of we had to do a lot of had to get licensed by 3 different entities essentially, like the health department, like the local health departments, the statewide health department, and DTSE, because we essentially transport blood. So it took a while
during
to
that
be able
process.
to get.
Did you ever feel like discouraged? Because every time I hear paperwork, I'm always just like, I'm like, never mind. You know what I mean? But even for a year, were you ever discouraged at all?
Not really. I remember at times asking my wife, like, where are we at? Have you heard anything? And she's like, no, not yet. And probably a little bit, I kind of got like, oh, they're gonna deny us. Like, who are we? Like, why would they give us a company or license us or whatever? But
just kind of kept hope.
I think you're just having fun with the grind, like trying to get the process of getting it done, right?
Yeah.
Because I think, especially starting something, just seeing it go through and like every step, that's the fun part. I think once you get it, that's when the real work starts.
I think I started having all these ideas throughout that whole time. Like, oh, we can do this, oh, we can do that. But I know the one thing what I did do was I started asking owners and artists what they wanted in a tattoo stripes container pickup company, what they wish they had that they didn't. And so literally, I even asked artists pricing. I went to them and be like, how much do you pay right now? How much would you like to pay? And what's a fair assessment? What's a fair median to where for me to make money, but for it also to be fair for you, that you don't feel at any point ripped off or that you're being taken advantage of. And our original pricing came from tattoo artists, literally telling me what was fair.
That's dope.
And
I think one thing you did too is that you broke the mold. A lot of these big companies, they wanted to have shops and contracts, right? You have to be with us for a whole year, 2 years, and then you could go somewhere else. And you're just one call away, right?
Yeah.
One call away. If we need you, we need you. If we don't, we're good.
Everything I've heard from different artists and owners was, and it was never the same thing. It was, every shop was different. Even if they were with the same company, it was all different. It was like this shop, was with this company and they had a 3-year contract. And this shop, same company, but they're in a 5-year contract. And then this other shop, same company, 5-year contract with a monthly fee in between there. Or they had to have a minimum of 2 pickups per year or whatever the case may be. And it was never the same. It was never like one straight base for all shops to kind of a platform. Like, this is what it is for all shops, no matter who you are. It was always like up and down, up and down. No shop was the same. And I didn't think that was fair at all. And a lot of those bigger companies, they do like the hospitals, clinics, dialysis, all these different places. And so tattoo shops in general, the tattoo industry wasn't really high on their priority list. It wasn't important to them. So it was more like, oh, we service them too, whatever. So
that was gonna be like my next thought. It was just like a wild thought. I'm like, if you're taking away business from them, you get a call from them or something. Hey man, you want to sign with us or you know? No, but that's cool.
I think you found the problem in that, and that's how you were able to insert yourself and actually fix that for this industry. Right? But not just this industry. You say you're branching out to what, permanent makeup?
Permanent makeup. We weren't really going to at the beginning. We were like strictly tattoo shops. But then a lot of women who do permanent makeup, like eyebrows and lips and all that stuff, are a lot of them are wives, girlfriends of tattoo artists. So it kind of went off of that. So we kind of have a lot of references because their boyfriend, their husband is a tattoo artist who uses us.
You're thinking to branch off to barbershops?
In time, we'll see. Baby steps. Yeah. I'm always about baby steps, not trying to expand too quickly, because then you trip over yourself and you start making promises that you can't keep. And that's what I try to not do. So,
and how many vans do you have right now going around?
Just the one van.
Is this you?
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm crazy because I'm out there, 4 or 5 days a week just on the hustle. But I love what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to a tattoo shop, I pick up and I hang out. I'll talk to the owner, I'll talk to the shop, I'll talk to all the artists.
Don't tell your wife that.
And then, but I'm there, at enough time to be able to know I need other pickups.
Yeah.
But it's all relationships. I mean, it's
and you're highlighting that very important thing. That's why we wanted to bring you in today, because you found an opportunity somewhere in the industry, in the tattoo industry, that needed more of a service that is built on relationships, because those big companies that were coming, they were just like, here's a contract, we'll come pick it up. And there was no personal interaction, you saw that there's a gap there. And I think you were the perfect person to do that because you had that experience of talking to artists at Kingpin, right?
Yep.
So that's why I think you were it was meant to be for you, man, to be honest.
I mean, we were just talking about how we first met each other. He pulled up right here by mistake, right?
Yeah, it wasn't by mistake essentially. I mean, it was another shop. When you guys bought the shop originally and changed the name to Iconic, it was another shop before you.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to come to that other shop, thinking it was that other shop. And when I pulled up, it was a whole nother name, and it was you guys.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It was almost like we just connected off that first instant. Like the second I pulled up, you guys were so happy to see me, and we just clicked. And
because I remember you coming in, and you didn't come in all egotistical or nothing. You just came in just with genuine interest of who we are, you know. And to clarify, that shop that was before had already went out of business, you know, and the location was emptied for a while. We just happened to see it available, and we took it over and just kind of revamped it, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't buying that other company. But yeah, that's how you came in, man. And from from the little bit that I remember, I mean, your personality was genuine, and I was like, all right, who is this guy, And then you offered us a service that we needed, because prior to that, we're just barely open, to be honest. We haven't even filled in our containers yet, you know what I'm saying? So we're about to think okay, should we go into a contract? Because that's something that...
Should we bury him in the backyard or...
We didn't know exactly what our approach was,
all the crazy things they did back in the day.
My house has 1,000 of them in the back. Because that's what you do with, it's literally contaminated blood in those needles,
I mean, before we use you, I remember I would take my sharps to... You know how some counties have the recycling?
Yep.
So I would just wait for that once a year, save them all up, and just
take them all at once. Yeah.
You
used to be able to, back in the day, cement them.
Yeah.
And then throw them in the trash, because now it was one solid block. Before the health department started getting stricter and stricter about, hey, we need paperwork. You got to dispose of them by a proper business to be able to, pass your yearly inspection or whatever.
So, going through this whole process, you said it took you about a year. What would you say was the hardest thing for you to get started? Besides going through the red tape and all that?
Just trying to figure out how we were going to start a company.
Yeah.
It was even after, I remember when, because my wife did all the footwork. I mean, just, I couldn't express this enough. She literally, M.A.G, everyone knows who I am. I do all the. Let's not go that far. But everyone knows who I am. I get all the recognition. I mean, I'm the car essentially. But my wife got Mama G, is the engine that literally makes MAG run. MAG does not run without her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But nobody really knows who she is. She does all the stuff that I don't want to do, that I can't do.
Yeah.
But I remember when we first got the company, she took me to dinner, and she had already had the envelope of us from the state saying, you were a legitimate company now. You guys can start business. And she took me to dinner, and we ordered. And while we were waiting for our dinner to come, she hands me this envelope, and I open it, and it's literally our license to be able to operate. And I started crying. Like, I literally, like, I got up, I gave her a big kiss, I gave her a big hug, because I knew that she did the footwork to be able to make this happen for us. And I literally started crying. And I remember the waiter came by, was like, is everything okay? Because like what's happening? You good? But I was just bawling just because I was like, I knew how bad I wanted it at this time. I knew how important it was for the industry after having all these conversations with artists, owners. And it was something that I didn't think I wanted this bad until it happened. And it was like, I don't know, it was like winning the lottery almost. It was like that feeling, like a tattoo artist who opens up a shop, passes their inspections, and the city tells them, you're good to go. That feeling, like, this is mine. This is me.
Yeah. The first hurdle.
Yep. And so, but after that, it was like, oh man, now how do we run? how do we run a company?
That's what I was gonna ask you. Actually,
do this?
she's watching you right now, so she's giving you hearts right now on the live. But did you guys have prior experience in owning a business?
No.
I
had never owned a business. I had no idea what I was doing.
Your family? Are you the first entrepreneur
I'm
in
the
your family?
first entrepreneur ever in my entire family.
Wow, that's crazy.
I didn't finish college. Gabriela's the smart one in the family. She's the one that finished college. You know, she's the brains. But I didn't know what I was doing. She didn't know what she was doing. I mean, we have business savvy, like we know. But to run a company, to know what we're doing, it was trial and error. It was, you know, I messed up so many times first 6 months. But we only picked up in Orange County. So I told Gabriela, I was like, let's just focus on Orange County where we live. There's enough tattoo shops here that are local that if we mess up, I already know who they are. So maybe they'll have a little leniency with me knowing, oh, he's just starting out. You know, let's give him a break. And so we started out for 6 months, and I messed up. I would make appointments and be there late and just mess up in general. Like any business owner would. But I learned, and you learn and you grow, and it's become something that's, I mean, the MAG name now has relevance. Like, just like I always told my wife, I was like, I want it to be known as just MAG, not M.A.G Transport Services. Like, I want to cut out transport services and just, I want the word MAG to mean something. And I think now we're starting to get to that point to where our logo and our name means something important. And so,
to be honest, I forgot you guys use transport service. I would just say MAG.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So that's where I'm trying to get to that point. And, you know, and it's still, we're still getting there.
Yeah.
But
I think it's tight. Like you said, it's like the importance, and it's true because ever since I started working here, and you talk about, or they talk about MAG, it's almost like seeing the mystery machine. You know, you see your trucks, like, oh, there's the MAG truck. You know what I mean? It's like that, bro. So
we were so happy to be able to get that van.
Yeah. Because you used to do it at your car.
I used to pick up. Let's not say that. No, I used
the
to.
struggle's real, bro. Be honest.
No, I used to have a little placard that my wife made that I had to put on the side of the car that has our dot number, and we had to have that on to be able to work, because in case I got pulled over, they needed to see my dot number. And I used to throw them in the red bags and throw them in the trunk. And that's what I did. That's how I started picking up out of my car, throwing them in the trunk. And then from there we just kind of built up, went to a U-Haul.
Yeah.
And then I made sure I disinfected everything, made sure everything was clean before I returned it. But went to a U-Haul, and I thought I'm getting big time now. I'm in the U-Haul, like this is crazy. And then when we bought that van, that was just like, wow. Like it was the little transitions.
Yeah.
To be able where we started to where we are now, it's ridiculous how far we've come. I mean, I'm so grateful and humbled. It's ridiculous.
So I think the biggest thing you bring into this industry is, like you said, your personality. You go in there and you get to know the artist and everything. Yeah. So when you start blowing up more and actually expanding, hiring people, do you feel like that should be necessarily a requirement for drivers to go in there and like actually chit chat with the artist?
That's what I would like. I would like to hire somebody that is personable, that can go into a shop and have a conversation and be able to know about the tattoo industry. They don't have to have tattoos, but just know the industry that you're working in and know what you're doing. Like, know the protocols, do it the right way. Because I've heard so many shops tell me that the past company they're with, they'll put their gloves on, go grab the shrubs containers, take them to their van or car, whatever they were, but then essentially touch everything with the same gloves that they touched the shrubs containers with. Their doors, their tables, and then try to hand the artist a pin with the gloves still on that they just picked up all the shrubs containers to be like, here you go. Can you send the paperwork? And the artist is like, I'm not using that pin. And then once they leave, they have to try to remember what did they touch. Because I have to disinfect this entire shop now because I don't know what they touched. And I heard that so many times. And it's one of those things where it's like, you walk into somebody's home, you respect it. And every shop owner, this is his home. I mean, this is almost his home before it's even the actual home because he's at a shop probably more than he's at home. And so you respect it in all aspects.
I think that's this whole industry, though. Like, this industry is run by respect. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to move up and talk to people, that like, learn from people and all, it's respect. You got to show respect first to get respect back.
Yeah. That's the one thing. I mean, it took me a while to learn that. Yeah. Just because, if you just work in a warehouse, you don't know. You just assume respect in general. But this industry is all, it's relationships and respect. And that's like one of the keys that I've always wanted M.A.G to be. The one thing that I remember telling my wife, I was like, the one thing I won't budge on at any point is the contract. I never want to do a contract. And I was like, I'll be lenient on most things, but on that, I will not.
What's the psychology behind that?
Like, nobody likes contracts. I don't think anyone likes contracts in any aspect. And if you like phone contracts, whatever, like it's just there's always some gray area within the contract that
it's one person trying to fuck the other.
Yeah, and so there's always something. And what I've noticed is when you have a contract, you give good service for a while, but then you kind of back off that good service because you're like, they're stuck. I got them for another couple of years. I could not be at the top of my game with that shop because where are they going to go? They're stuck. So the way my thought process is if you don't have somebody in the contract and you give them that freedom you don't have to use me. You can tell me to kick rocks and go away at any moment, at any time, ever. So it holds me to a higher standard to be like, I always have to give that shop a good service. I always have to give that shop the best quality service that I possibly can because they don't have to use me.
That's pretty smart.
And I think that holds me
accountable.
Like, exactly. Accountable to every single time they call me for a pickup, every single time that they need me. And so,
man, you guys are really good with customer service too. Because I remember we used you guys. Shout out to Mama G. She helped us out a lot. We're about to get inspected, and we're like, "Damn, we need a sharps container pickup." And I remember she sent me an invoice saying that we had a date already set up to come. So when the inspector came, we just gave them that, and they're like, "Cool, bam."
Yeah. Whenever I always tell people, I'm like, most of the time when you DM us, it's not me answering. Like 80-90% of the time, it's Mama G. She's the one answering the DMs. She's the one answering the phone calls when you call to ask for a pickup. She's the one that answers all the emails. It's her. It's not me.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because everyone will DM us, be like, "Hey Adam, hey bro." It's like, it's not me you're talking to. It's like,
Because you're the face. You're the one that goes and talks, and
it's
That's
funny,
dope, bro.
It's funny because I think Gabriela now on all the DMs she'll put Gabriela, and so she'll
okay,
like,
like
have a
little
little
signature?
little
Yeah.
signature kind of thing, like hey, it's me.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's just been a slow process, and it's
I know you got a little setback too. Your account got hacked, right?
yeah, my original account, my personal one got hacked, which I let it go. I was just like, there's no point, because I was literally posting the same thing on MAG than I was on that one. So I was like, it's pointless. There's no point. So I let that one go, and then our MAG one got hacked, and I mean, there again, Mama G to save the day. I mean, I couldn't say that more than enough. But within 4 days, she got it back. She found out how to get your account back from IG, and she took it back. So we were like, we didn't have an account for like 4 days,
Right.
until she got it back.
How did that happen though?
I think I clicked something. I'm like a
Bro,
tonto.
I got
I'm
you.
over here like, oh, what's
Free
this?
tattoo giveaway.
Oh, this is cool. I'm
Go
over
live.
here- I'm over here clicking. I probably clicked something.
Yeah, you got.
And then
can't
I had to
click
go
those.
downstairs and explain to her, I think I messed up. And she's like, all right. And like, she already went in that mode, like, all right, let's fix this.
Yeah.
Like, all right, what do we need to do? We're going to get this back. And I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling bad because I'm like, this is our only account. This is all we have.
Yeah.
If we can't get this back, we start from scratch. I'm like, oh, man. But yeah.
You mentioned conventions. Does your wife go with you to the convention as well?
That was the one thing I thought was really, really important. I was really big on conventions. And she wasn't so at the beginning because she didn't see the benefit of it. She was just like, we pick up from shops. What do we need to do at conventions? But I was like, they need a pickup too. And so I told her, I was like, I also want to have artists tattooing in our booth because I think it's a good marketing. Everything's marketing. I'm going to get your name out there, marketing. And until she went to her first convention. And then as soon as she went to her first convention, I think that's where she got hooked.
Yeah.
She was like, this is important.
I remember
This
seeing
is
her at
important.
Golden State. She was right there slinging hats.
Yep. Yeah. The same hat Josh is wearing right now. But yeah, so now she sees the benefit of it and how important it is.
So when you first started this business, you started going to the first shops, right? When you first started, how big did you get? Like, when you first started, how many shops were you servicing, and how many are you going through now to get an idea of how fast you grew? Because
It's
probably, an
probably,
awesome
It's
story.
probably hard to say exactly how many. I remember the very first two shops that we picked up from, All Hallows Inc. and Tip Top in Fullerton.
Okay.
The very first two shops, I picked up those two shops in one day, and I was ecstatic. I was like, "This is it. We made it. 2 shops." Other than that, it's almost a blur. It's like it started just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger over time.
You still have your day job though too, right?
I still had my day job during that whole process, picking up at night and on the weekends, until it slowly just got bigger and bigger. And then artists talk to artists, owners talk to owners, and a lot of our business came from references. Like, oh, my boy works at this shop. He told us to use you. We're gonna use you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Adam, I know you. Like, we go way back. Like, I'm gonna support you. And so, it just kind of dominoes from there.
Yeah, because every tattoo shop I mentioned to you, you know them. So I'm wondering, like, how many shops do you know in general?
I think now, the amount of shops that we pick up from is close to 1,600
1,600 stores
within
or shops?
Southern California, all the way from San Luis Obispo, Morro Bay, all the way out down to San Diego and out to Barstow.
Wow.
That's our entire circumference.
I was
now.
thought you were gonna say like 160.
No.
How are you not hiring someone, bro?
Yeah, bro, for real.
I think I'm Superman. I think I can do it all. But we're gonna expand all the way up north real soon.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna hire somebody to kind of
And then how many
on
conventions
those
do you do?
days.
Sorry,
If I'm
keep
trying
cutting
to,
you off.
I'm trying to name them all, but
Yeah.
um,
You're very
I think-
active in the
I think we
conventions.
pick up probably close to the 12, 14 conventions right now that we pick up from.
Including Arizona?
We don't pick up from Arizona
Oh, you don't?
because we're not licensed in Arizona yet.
Oh, okay.
But we go to Arizona just for that potential. Like it's right next door to us, and it's still a good marketing tool in case we do go out there real soon. Then we're already established out there. People already know our name, know what we do. So that when we do go out there, like we're already, oh, I know you guys. Oh, I met you before like that convention. Yeah, I'll go with you.
Sick.
So
That van has a lot of miles in there.
that van has a lot of miles. Yeah.
And it's crazy because you can go so many other avenues you can build on this business that you have. You know what I'm saying? Because in a sense, you're in the business of knowing people in an industry. You know what I'm saying? You put in what 4 years? You said
We've had M.A.G about 4.5 years now.
4.5 years, dude. That's a lot of getting to know somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that takes a lot of work behind the scenes that nobody talks about. You know. And a lot of artists, they want, and I think that we can highlight it like this because a lot of artists want to get busy tattooing. You know what I mean? And they just want to just get the clients right away. But we always say build relationships with your followers, you know what I'm saying? And people, the one small tattoo that comes in and just build a relationship, keep in contact with them because those relationships foster into bigger and more referrals.
Yeah.
And you're like, we can, we can compare that to you. You probably started at one shop, but you still you understood to maintain that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, check up on us and like our stuff. You know, genuinely give us a conversation. How's it going? You know, it's not like, hey, where's the stuff? See you later. Yeah. And I think doing that so many times, I was able to grow you to 1,600 studios. Man, is ours the best looking by the way?
No, it's one of the top ones. No, but
we're not paying you for this, right?
Nah, I remember when you guys were next door at the little shop and you guys came here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big step for you guys.
It is, man. In in 4 years too, you know?
Yeah. And so it's a big step. I mean, this is like twice the size. And it's just to see you guys grow just as you guys' shop, as you guys' brand. It's been almost on the same level as M.A.G in the sense of it's just different aspects, different avenues, but you guys have
we
killed
started
it.
around the same time.
Yeah.
Right? 4 years
Almost
ago.
the same time.
Yeah, no, I to be honest, I think we're learning from you, man, because I'm like, damn, this guy is just everywhere in anything that's tattoo related. I mean, Romeo just asked him about certain conventions, like, oh, I'm gonna be there.
Oh,
like
that's right.
the effort for you to be and realize, have the what's the word, the thought of just, I need to be everywhere so that we can be relevant. You know, that's just gonna help you even grow more, man. It's crazy.
There's a few conventions that are the same weekend.
Yeah.
That we have to make it work. So like Mama G's going to one, I'm going to another one. We have to separate, but we have to pick up at both.
Yeah. All right. So one question I'm really eager to ask you is just, you do 1,600 shops, right?
Yeah.
How do you map all that out? Where you're gonna go? What shops you're gonna do?
So it took a while. It took months of just. I went on the internet and I would be up after the girls went to bed. I'll be up like 9 o'clock at night, sometimes all the way till 6 in the morning. On Google, mapping out all shops in Temecula, all shops in Marietta, and just making a route.
Damn.
And I did that all the way up north. And it just took time, and it was exhausting. And there were some times when I went to from at 9 o'clock all the way to 6, and the girls wake up. And then the sun comes up. And it's like I hadn't slept at all. And the girls are like, all right, let's go. Let's play. And I'm like, all right, let's play. There's some days I got no sleep, but that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
And so you just map out little areas, little groupings of shops that will work, that you can drive to. They're all close together.
Right. And granted, they weren't all calling you at the same time.
No.
Right? You had like everybody changes their sharps containers like in random times as opposed to the other. Like nobody is like every first of the month you don't go.
And everyone's different. So usually the industry average is once every 6 months.
Yeah.
So their industry average is like they need a pickup once every 6 months. But there's some shops I go to once a year, some shops twice a year, some shops 3 times a year.
Wow.
And it all depends. I mean, there's private studios that maybe don't do as much because they're private and they don't do appointment only. But then there's also like the street shops that have so many walk-ins, little bangers, that maybe I'm picking up there a little bit more. So every shop's different, which is why I do the no contract, because I know every shop's different.
Yeah.
So you use me when you want on your terms.
That's so smart.
And you have something going on right now that's really cool, the bundle deal you talk about, right?
Yeah, that
Explain that a little bit.
that took a while to kind of get going.
Yeah.
Because when I first picked up, we didn't even have replacements. It was a straight pickup, and this is the learning curve as we go. Straight pickup, and you had to go get the replacements wherever you buy your stuff. And so I was like, this isn't working, because I'm picking up their stuff, and sometimes I'm leaving them with nothing because I just took all their sharps. So then they send their apprentice, hey, go get some sharps containers because we don't have any. So then he has to go drive to the supply store or whatever, go buy his sharps. So me and Gabriela kind of sat down and said, we need to do something for the industry to make it a one-stop shop. And she came to me and she was like, what does the industry use? And I knew green soap, Maticide, and then we partnered up with the Rinse Cup, the solidifier. So we added that to our bundle deal. So the bundle deal is picking up your sharps containers, giving you replacements, a gallon of green soap, a gallon of Maticide or Opticide, whichever one you choose, and the Rinse Cup. So it's an all-inclusive bundle deal that shops, as soon as we released that, it just blew up. And every shop was like, I need that. I want that.
That's a firm price, or does that price?
It started out of $240. So we almost had the same pricing for 3 years. And everyone's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Because I was like, I don't want to just raise prices just because. Like, I want to make a living. But I'm so pro-industry that I never want any shop, any artist to feel like they're being taken advantage of at any point in any aspect ever. So our bundle deal at the beginning was $240. The only reason why we raised the price, it went from $240 to $280.
280?
$280. So the only reason why we even raised it was because gas was killing me.
Yeah.
That's when gas was creeping up to like $6-7 a gallon. And I'm driving everywhere. And then where we drop off our bins, because they get, where we drop them off in LA, they get sterilized and they get shipped to Texas where they get burned. They doubled our price to be able to drop them off because the whole, everything was going up at that time. So me and Gabriela had this long conversation about, we need to raise the price. And I was still standing firm. Maybe I was being a little bit too pro-industry.
Right.
And I was like, no, I don't want to do that to them. And she was like, no, you don't understand. I do all the bills. Like
we don't have
this
any
is
money.
dude, you don't
make
like,
this profitable.
We're doing this for free, basically. Like there's at a certain point, you need to think about us as a family.
Exactly.
And so I was like, all right. So we're like, all right, what are we spending on gas a month? How much did they charge us to drop off the containers? Let's find the middle ground. So we went across the board, all right, 15%. So we raised our prices by 15% that we thought was fair. Not that we were trying to gouge the industry. We were just trying to keep up with how society was at that time.
Yeah.
So our prices went up to $280.
This was after COVID or before COVID?
This is right after COVID.
Right after.
When everything just started skyrocketing. and
Prices.
and that's when we raised our prices, and that was, I think, the only reason why we raised our prices at that time.
So with that bundle deal, like you said, some shops pick up once a year, some twice a year. Does that matter? Like how many sharp containers they have?
So our cap is 8.
8.
So we always try to say if you have up to 8. So it works if you have 5, 6, 7, or 8 containers. It mathematically works. But we had to put a cap because we knew at a certain point
Yeah.
there'll be that some shop that says, well, there's no cap. Here's 40 containers. 280, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, so we had to have some sort of a cap.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so we were like, okay, what's a good cap that's still a bigger shop could still benefit from?
Yeah.
And so that's what we do.
So it's crazy, man. As I'm hearing you talk, like I'm imagining you just jumping on your van and going to Iconic, and then you're gonna go to, the other shops around here.
Yeah.
Just jumping over and over. You get to see a lot of inside the studios of tattoo shops, right? And that's, I think that is so like priceless for somebody. You just created a business. You're able to see inside a shop. Us, we probably know 5 each that we've been into.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not that much. 1,600.
Yeah.
So you've seen some shops design, their aesthetic, their customer service, their branding. You know what I'm saying? Have you picked up anything from that as far as how shops do it? Do you have it like? Have you picked up any advice?
What I've noticed is that every shop kind of goes with the flow of where they're located.
Okay.
Like LA shops have that LA feel.
Oh.
Like the downtown shops, the ones from like really street shop downtown, you can feel like this is a walk-in downtown LA shop. And then like the shops in like Laguna Beach, San Clemente, they're a little bit nicer.
Okay.
Like they're a little bit more. It's all area. It's all area
Like
based.
the attention to detail, maybe.
Yeah, a little attention to detail.
Okay.
Maybe not so much flash on the wall. It's a little bit more nicer. And then when you have the other shops, it's just flash everywhere.
Flash everywhere.
It's just everywhere. But that's the reason why on our Instagram, we post every single shop that we go to, which is why a lot of artists say they really like our Instagram because they get to see those shops that they've always wondered what it looked like and they've never been able to go, or they don't know the owner to be able to go. They get to have that, that's what that shop looks like. And they get to see it through our posts.
And that's what I was getting at. A lot of artists do wonder how other shops look.
Yeah.
But we don't make the effort to even like just go and walk to another shop and be like, hey man, my name is Ricky Tad. I work at Iconic over here. I would just like to get to know you, you know? Why? Because we think that
We're bothering them.
we're bothering them. It's competition. Oh, here's my competition walking in. He wants to gather something from you, you know? And I think you have something there where you can create more of a union because you're able to go to each shop, you know?
But I think that's also just the mindset of like the industry beforehand that's barely going away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like before, you wouldn't be friends with your neighbors, you know? But now with conventions and you being a middle ground, you're talking about them, you know, to the other shop.
Yeah.
I feel like you're creating that bridge, per se, you know?
Back in the day, everything I've heard, I mean, you couldn't open a shop within so many miles from another one because they would get mad. Like, this is my block.
Yeah.
Like, this is
They'll
you
break your
don't
windows.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Territorial.
I throw a walk through window.
Yeah.
You know, all this other stuff that 20 years ago, whatever, and now you got shops that are opening up within throwing the rock distance of another shop, and it's okay now. It's more, like I said, acceptable.
Yeah.
And so,
You know what would be a good idea for you, bro? Like it's an investment, but I think it's just gonna be more interest. You should start a YouTube channel and hire a videographer like Carlos over here. Shout out to Carlos, Anchored Minds.
yeah,
And have you film you going to different shops and how you hang out. Well, we would love to see that.
Yeah, because you mentioned something about how you show the shop, right?
yeah,
On your Instagram, and it's true because I mentioned an artist to you earlier, and I really like his work. So when you were showing that his location, I was like, that's dope. I wish I could see more. So that'd be tight if you did,
Yeah.
a little bit more of a segment like that. But, to what you were saying, I do refer to some of your posts, and I see some of that, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah,
That would be dope.
I
bro.
do that just because I like to give those shops that use us a shout out.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I say me, but when I say me, I mean me and Gabriela.
Yeah, of course.
I always refer to both of us. But like we're beyond grateful and humbled of every single shop that uses us. It's just like every shop that uses us is putting food on our table to feed our daughters. Like, and we look at it in that aspect. It's very important. And so
Well,
yeah,
maybe they should learn from this. No, let's be honest. We're on here right here, and I wanted to highlight that. There's a reason why we still do business with you, because you come in and you make the effort to be part of like getting to know us, right? Yeah. So Nuclear Tattoo Supply comes and delivers to us. We purchase 90% of our stuff from them.
Okay.
T-Pro makes an attempt to come in here and purchase and sells those stuff, but we don't buy a lot of stuff from them. Why? It's not because they don't have stuff that's less quality. They have the same stuff, but sometimes it matters the person that walks in, and the persons that walk in, they barely know English. You know what I'm saying? We don't know Chinese, so we're just like in barrier. Yeah. So I can't really tell him like I tell another person like, hey man, what's everybody using right now for black and gray? What's the ink? They're gonna be like, oh, this and that. You know what I mean? Very short responses.
Well, also the way they come in though too, because was the T-Pro come in like, you need something? You need something?
Yeah.
No? They'll walk all the way to the back to find me. You need something?
Yeah.
No? All right, leaves. With John, he comes on Wednesdays.
From
Nuclear. He'll come in, hey, how you doing? He'll bring us little gifts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll we got like 3D gifts here.
We'll have a whole conversation with them, you know what I mean? They do that effort to create a relationship with us.
Exactly.
That's what I've noticed is how important, you're talking about just relationships in general. Like that's everything. I mean, when I'm driving just in my normal car and I'm doing errands and, if I'm driving by a shop, if I have time, I'll stop by just to say what's up.
And you have done that to us.
Yeah, and just stop by. Hey, how you guys doing? Even if I'm like in the van and I know you guys don't need a pickup and I'm in the area, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to stop by. I have some time. I'm going to stop by and say what's up. Because it's all about relationships and building that. I mean, it's just making it stronger, which is why I thought conventions were so important.
Yeah.
Because when you're at a shop and you pick up, you only have so much time. Like, I could only be here so much time because I have, 10 plus other pickups that one day. And so I can only be here so many times. And if you're tattooing, you can only give me so much attention because you need to focus on your client, focus on tattooing, doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
So I'm able to come in here, have a little conversation with you, say what's up, do what I'm supposed to do, clean your shop, and then go. But at a convention is where you could really build on that relationship, because at a convention you can sit there and have an actual genuine conversation with somebody and then go have a drink with them, maybe have dinner with them. And on a whole different level, you get to know and meet those individuals. And it makes your relationship, your friendship, your everything that much stronger, to where when they talk about you with their artist friends or whatever, they're just like, you gotta use them. Like, you don't understand. Like, they're on a whole different level.
Yeah.
And that's what it just creates.
Well, you're picking up what tattoo artists do. I mean, that's exactly what tattoo artists do with conventions. I mean, I remember we went to Philly, I told you, same thing. Like, it's not just about talking to them at the convention. It's about going out with them at night. Go get a drink, go get some dinner. And then on top of that, after you leave the convention, follow up. How you doing? How you been?
Because, I mean, conventions essentially were never made to actually make money. Conventions aren't, they're to make money, but conventions for tattoo artists back in the day were just like, just the relationships. Yeah. I want to be around these tattoo artists that's coming from, overseas or from back east or whatever. And it was more of like a gathering instead of like, man, I'm going to go and try to make as much money as I can and just try to grind and kill it.
Yeah.
That's not what it was about back in the day. And so I take that out of it and include that into M.A.G. Being like, I'm going to do this, but just incorporate into what I do and make that succeed.
So what do you say about the argument that you could do that over Instagram now? Think it's the same?
to a degree.
Yeah.
You can do it to a degree. Because Instagram,
You don't have that.
you don't have that personal connection.
Yeah.
But even on Instagram, when you post something, you need to have that person's attention span if they're on. Because if they're not on and you post, then it just gets filtered down through every other post that's happening that day. So there's a lot of people that won't see your post because they just got filtered down, and now it's, hundreds lower that you have to scroll through to be able to see that one person.
Or it might not even
post.
show to
Or it might
it
even
because of
show.
the algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah, the algorithm, it messes, all that.
But also it's because you see everybody, like, especially if it's a well-sought artist, they're getting so many messages at a time, right? So you're just another number. And like in a convention, when you go up to them, you're actually talking to them, you're connecting with them.
Yeah.
You have a different experience with them. And I feel like they're more open with you in that way.
I was having this conversation with Romeo right before we started the podcast about the artists I used to look up to, that I used to see their name on the Eternal Ink bottle or Fusion. I'm like, oh man, those are. Do you know who that is? Like those, those are big artists. And I'm like, I want to meet them one day. And when I meet them, I'm all gaga.
Yeah,
I'm all like,
handled their bottles for a long time.
Do you know who you are? And type of thing. And it's like, now I talk to them on a weekly basis, and they'll call me, and I'll call them, and we'll text back and forth. And I never thought I would be able to get to that point. I'm like, to be able to like actually say hypothetically, like, Big Sleeps, like, that's my friend.
Yeah.
That's not like just somebody, a name or, a big name in the industry. I'm like, that's my, I know his first name. Like, that's my friend.
Is it big?
And it's like, it's big.
It's big.
But like, artists like that, like, to be able to consider them like your friend and not just like, oh, that's just a respectable artist that I've seen tattoo for the last 10 plus years. And to be able to get to that point, took time, took being able to have a conversation with them. But that's where I'm lucky in.
But on top of that, like, you actually get to hang out with people that are putting, like, right now they're putting in their grind, they're hustling. Like, Big Sleeps is doing a lot of big things right now. So does that motivate you to, oh man, he's doing this, now I can go do to this level?
There
because
is.
You're right next to him,
This is, so I'm always trying to do more. And sometimes my wife's more like slow your roll. Like, let's like, because my mind never stops.
Yeah.
I'm always like, what's the next big thing? What's the next big thing? So like the big thing that we're doing this year is artist design shirts. And the very first shirt that we released was actually this one that I'm wearing by Mike Avena from Stone Temple Tattoo.
Nice.
Which looks like this.
Let's check it out.
I'm promoting it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But it's the very first shirt that we've ever. It's the very first shirt that we've ever released, and it's selling like quick.
That's so smart.
And
that's what Solon was doing.
Yeah, and so, but I'm doing it on a different platform to where I'm only releasing one shirt every 2 months, and I'm giving that artist that we are honored that they want to have their artwork on our shirt, all that notoriety. All that respect.
Damn.
All that attention on stories, on feeds, and we're just posting like crazy. That's the one thing that we're doing a little bit different. While we're not mass producing shirts, we're producing one shirt, limited edition. Once they're gone, they're gone. And you may not ever see the shirt again, maybe a 5-year anniversary down the road. But when I asked Mike, like, do you want to do this shirt? He was like, yes, I have an art piece I've never tattooed, I've never released, I've never done anything. It's yours. You can have it. And I was so, like, just awestruck. Like, really? And so that's like the big thing. That's like the next step. And there's always like
there's so many other ideas I can think of doing that.
There's so many more ideas I have down the road.
Yeah.
But that's like this year's kind of like launch.
That's good,
and
bro.
like
I could envision you doing like stickers, different
Prince.
prints, you know, even collectibles, you know, like,
Yeah.
and just have that sign from each artist and just work with them.
But to be able, I mean, everyone's like, a lot of people have told me like, Adam, like, you don't realize what you have here.
Yeah.
Like, because essentially, I pick up the sharps, I pick up the trash, and to be able to be like, I'm gonna have an entire Instagram that's focused on the tattoo industry, and I'm just a sharps company, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be at conventions, and I'm gonna be with this artist, I'm gonna do this. It's like there's never been just a straight sharps container pickup company that's kind of doing it on the way I'm doing it, on the platform I'm trying to do it at.
On the
Because
relationship
on the
building.
relationships part, on just everything.
You're
And
the,
so-
you're the true saying of your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know a lot of people in the industry that we would love to get to know. By the way, can you tell them to come to our IQ Project podcast, please? No, but on the real, like that is big, and that's what they meant by that.
There's been
I
a lot of
guess.
people that have told me like you're pioneering a new way of your company,
Exactly.
of what you guys are doing for this industry. And like I'm always like, they're like, anything you're gonna do new, like with your bundle deal, whatever. I'll be like, I'll probably add a few more things.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to. I'll try to do it without raising the prices, because I'm not trying to get that price of the bundle deal up too much, because then it just becomes
Have new like products hit you up and said, "Hey, can you?"
a lot.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty
so,
sure you're
yeah.
like vetting and making sure like it's not just a Chinese company. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like it matters.
we've been very fortunate to where we get hit up a lot by the same people I used to look up to like 5 years ago, and they're like, "Hey, I want to collab with you.
Yeah.
I want to do this with you." And sometimes we're like, "Okay, like it has to be the right time. We
Exactly.
have to make sure that we're doing it the right way, and everything has to be on. Like we try to do everything honest, trusting. Like we try to do everything the right way.
Authenticity,
so-
right?
You don't want to ruin that reputation we work so hard to get.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and so that's the big thing. Just
But
to,
one thing I've noticed about you, and that I think this is why you're succeeding so much, is you have that follow through. You know, with you and Mama G, both of you guys, like you see something, you set your eyes on it, and you actually try to go for it.
yeah.
Where a lot of people don't. You know.
Yeah, that's I also want to give a huge shout out to our girls, like both my daughters, because there's been times when me and Gabriela like at the dinner table and we have to have an actual conversation about business. Like our daughters don't want to hear that, but they're patient and they're like, "Right, let them finish talking. This is important." And so, like, it's funny because we'll be at home, and our youngest, the way she helps out is like when my wife prints something, my daughter will go grab it from the printer and go hand it to her at her desk. And like she does those little things. And like my oldest like watches our little one and like plays with her to kind of keep her occupied so that Gabriela could finish her work and do what she needs to do. And like, and that huge shout out to them just because they actually help Gabriela really get what she needs done. And so
That's cool, man.
that's
Like,
it.
that was actually one of the questions that I had. Just like kind of a personal question. What does a week look like for you? You know, like I know you have a family, so
It's hectic at times. We don't pick up on the weekends because I've kind of made that a family time. Saturday and Sundays it's for my girls. It's my wife, my two daughters. Mondays we don't normally pick up because a lot of shops are closed. A lot of shops are closed. They're not really busy. The owners aren't even there on Mondays. So I usually pick up Tuesday through Friday. And that could vary. I could be picking up from anywhere between 5 shops and 18 shops
and this is like a
in
full
one
day.
day.
Wow.
You're just out on the road all day.
Out on the road, just different areas. You know, I could be in San Diego one week, Morro Bay the next week. And then I could be in Palm Springs one week and then Bakersfield the next week.
Wow.
Like I could be everywhere. And it's never guaranteed where I'm gonna be. But I do have a route system that I go once every 6 months. But those shops don't necessarily have to use us when I'm there.
Yeah.
Because they might not be ready. So then when I tell the shop is like if I was coming to pick up at Iconic, I would hit up, Josh and Ricky, be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in your area. Do you need a pickup?"
Yeah.
And they might look and be like, "Oh, we're not ready yet. We'll probably be ready in like a month or two." I'll be like, "All right, so when you are ready, you hit me up. And then give me a week or two grace period because I could be anywhere in Southern California, but I'll be there.
Damn, bro.
And so that's literally how we work on your terms, on your schedule, when you're ready.
Wow.
And I and Mama G will make it happen.
Respect, man.
It's very smart. Very smart, bro. I was gonna ask you something. Question. Oh, that was good. I went blank. Anybody else? It happens, man. Oh.
So basically, your schedule is almost as like a artist schedule.
Yeah.
You know, you're just out there.
Never guaranteed.
Right.
It's just every week's different. Every month is different. There's some months that, I mean, it feels like I'm working 5 days a week. I'm working those Mondays because shop's like, I'm open. I need a pickup.
I remember now. So do you pre-plan for Friday the 13th? Because, you know,
I don't
everybody...
pick up Friday the 13th.
No, but I'm saying like after it.
I do. Gabriella's phone blows up.
Bro, because we
Blows
use a
up.
lot of needles in that day.
Her phone.
You know, so I'm assuming you're going to get a calls. Like,
That weekend, the week after, her phone's blowing up. Our IG's blowing up.
damn.
Because they're just like, I just filled up
Yeah.
everything and I don't want these here no more.
Yeah.
Like, come pick this up. And then, like, the health department shows up and they're like, hey, where's your paperwork? You know? And the health department does not want to see sharp containers like just like stacked.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, how's that sanitary? Like, that's not, like, you need to have these picked up. And so we always try to do yeah. So we always do our very best to make sure. Because our job essentially is to make your job as artists and owners as easily process so that you don't have any issues with the health department. Like that's essentially like that aspect of what you guys do as artists should be when they come and ask you for your paperwork.
Yeah.
You're like, here you go. And we built such a good relationship with the health departments that you just say, I'm with MAG, and the health department's almost like, oh, okay, you're good. Let me just see. Okay, you're good. Because we built up that reputation in the sense of like, we know if you're using MAG, you're doing it the right way, and we know that they're doing it the right way. So that just makes our job easier to where we don't really have to question you about that aspect of the industry.
And you know what's crazy? You really have no competition right now. And if somebody does decide to compete against you, you have such a head start in building relationships that it's going to take them a long time, you know?
The one thing, and I'm going to be brutally honest about this. And one of the artists actually told me this. They're like, if another company comes and tries to do this, they're not doing it for the industry. They're doing it because now they see the potential money in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they're at this many shops and they could potentially make this much. I can make this much money. And they're not doing it for the industry at that point anymore. It's not for the industry it's more to capitalize on like, oh, this is a money thing. It's like the very first tattoo supply company that started up. And then now there's how many?
Yeah.
And so in that aspect, I'm not really so worried about it.
Right.
Because I'm like, I've already established relationships on a whole different level with every single shop that if somebody else comes and do this, in my mind, they're not doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
They're doing it for other reasons.
Sometimes just being cheaper is not the best option. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because throughout that process, that other company that is going to compete against you, they not have those follow-throughs like Josh said. They might not have the relationship. They might not have the rapport of them coming over to each shop and saying, hey, what's up, man? How you been, man? How's the wife? How's the kids, you know? So you definitely got a system and a brand for sure, you know, in MAG, and that's just it's awesome, man. It's
Even
awesome.
art shows, like we'll go like the art shows that are happening on like a Saturday night or whatever. Like me and Mama G will show up and like support those art shows if we're able to. I mean, everything depends on if our schedule allows it. But like if we are able to go, then we'll be there at those art shows, at those, you know, gatherings that each shop has or whatever to support them. And so it means something to us.
And another thing too is you just recently got tattooed.
I did.
Not just one tattoo. You got two.
I kind of went probably overboard. But I mean, all this time that shops were like, "Hey, where's your tattoos? Why aren't you tattooed? Why aren't you tattooed? Why aren't you tattooed? Oh, you pick up sharps, but you're not tattooed." I'm like, "No, not yet. I wanted to wait to get tattooed on my terms when I was ready, when I felt comfortable. I knew I was going to. I was just doing it on my terms. I didn't want to do it because this shop told me I need to do this.
Right.
Or like, oh, how could you be in the tattoo industry and you're not tattooed?" And it was like, I understand that, but a lot of that is like the old mindset, like the old school, like that's how it was.
Right.
But now the new school, I mean, I know a lot of artists that are amazing artists that don't have any tattoos. They're just like, yeah, they're just like they know how to tattoo. They're amazing at it. them not having tattoos doesn't mean that their tattoos are any less important or any less good. It just means that that's where they are at their point in their life. And so for me, I just waited till I was ready, but I just wanted to make sure it was done on my terms.
Shout out your artists that worked on you, bro.
So this one right here is by Q Tattoo. He owns a Lacey Lounge in Northeast LA.
Nice.
And then this one is Geronimo, who owns Alpha 7 in Montclair. He actually did this one in the M.A.G booth at the LA Tattoo Convention last month.
Really?
In January.
How was that convention?
It was actually a really good convention.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure it was done in the booth because I was like, that's a good marketing tool. And there was a lot of people like looking and came by the booth, and the booth was really popular because everyone was coming by looking at it, and so
That's cool.
Did they hurt?
Yeah, was it pain? What you expected?
yeah, I was a little crybaby. I was like, but they weren't that bad. Like it kind of hurt down toward the wrist and toward the little like this area where you bend.
You banned? Yeah.
But other than that, like it almost felt like my daughter was scratching me really hard.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, but it wasn't horrible.
That's it? Oh, hey, Rome, you wanna, since I'm tattooing you tomorrow, you want to do it on Wednesday, bro?
But it wasn't as bad. But I didn't use any numbing cream. I didn't use anything.
No.
I just went straight. Like, let's do this.
How many
Like,
shots you take?
None. I actually don't drink.
We'll
anymore.
edit it, bro. We'll edit
No,
it.
I
Tell
don't
us.
drink anymore. Yeah.
No?
I'm not, close
Straight
to
edge? 9
years sober.
Really?
9 years sober is something that I decided to do a while ago. That was important for me.
That's good, bro.
And so
And that probably shows in the way you guys grew so fast, man, because you're just hyper focused. You didn't have no distractions.
yeah.
Just
I
awesome,
mean,
man.
literally, the M.A.G stands for Mag Needles and Tubes. But most importantly, it's actually the initials of me, my wife, and my $2. Like M for Marilena, which is our oldest daughter. A, which is my youngest daughter, Annali, and Adam. And then G, the one who holds it down, Gabriela. So it's literally, family business to the core.
That's dope, bro. And I heard you brand that many times. Like, we're just a small, family business just trying to do it,
Everyone thinks we're bigger than what we are. Like, they're just, you guys have all these employees. You guys must do all this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's just
Because you're
us.
everywhere.
It's just us, straight hustle.
Your effort is bigger than you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
That's
it's
dope,
just
bro.
it's straight hustle and just continue that grind.
Few years, we're gonna see 30 vans running around.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
For real.
That's the
dope.
goal, little by little. Yeah.
You see a lot of tattoo shops going on. Now you got tattooed. How do you see? We always ask this question to everybody who comes in. How do you see the tattoo industry change in the next 10 years?
I think it's gonna blow up. Tattoos in general are so accepted now. It's almost, if you don't have a tattoo, you're the minority. And I think it's only gonna get bigger. I think tattoo shops are changing, and especially social media. It's changing how everyone's doing everything now, and so I think it's just gonna get bigger, which is why I think I kind of got in this at the right time.
Yeah.
That it just I got in it right when really social media really started blowing up with tattoo shops and artists, and just it's endless. Like the possibilities are just all the way to the moon.
And what do you see for yourself and your company in the next?
I want to take over the entire West Coast.
Damn.
I want to take over the entire West Coast. Our plan is next year to expand all the way to Sacramento, San Francisco, San Jose, Oakland, all of it. And then the following year, my wife's already looking into how do we get licensed in Nevada,
Nice.
because our plan is to expand to Reno and Vegas,
Nice.
and then just go from there.
Oh yeah, man.
I just wanted to make sure that we knew what we were doing before we really started expanding, because it's like I said before, like you don't want to expand too quickly and then make promises you can't keep. So I wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing here, so when I go over there, all the shops that don't know who we are, then they get to be like, oh, I've heard about you guys, and you guys are everything I've heard. You guys stand by your word. You guys do good business, and you guys follow through on all the promises that you say you're going to do. And so
That's cool, man.
You're gonna do it, bro. Just the sense of conviction that you have, and it sounds like it's already pre-planned, and it's just a matter of just going through the process, man.
yeah, but it's been a good ride so far. I mean, to be able to be here with you guys and be able to talk about this, and people wanting to hear my story, and wanting to know, how did you start this and how did you do this? I didn't think I would get to this point to where anybody would even care about how I started MAG and how MAG was created and how it transitioned throughout the years. I mean, it's humbling. I know that my wife wanted to be here. She was a little bummed.
Yeah.
But like our girls are at home, and like somebody has to watch them.
Right.
And I know one of our daughters was feeling a little sick, so she was like, I gotta be here.
Yeah.
But those are the things where it's like, I gotta go out here and represent what we created together. I mean, because everyone, like I said earlier, everyone thinks, oh, Adam did this, Adam did that. It's like, no, like we did this together.
Yeah.
Like me and Mama G, it's a team. Like there is no Adam without Mama G. It just goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And I think we all understand that, and you made a point that it's just not you, you know what I'm saying? And we understand that. We just don't see her as that part, but we understand it's a family business that needs those two parts, like we were talking earlier. Like she probably has the operational part down on lock, and she probably doesn't want, or maybe she could, but she just decided that you should be more the person that goes and meets the people and keeps the relationships going, you know what I'm saying? Because she was probably smart enough to say that, maybe you could do that better than I can, you know? And I like this part, and you just strengths and weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
So it's awesome, man.
Yeah, I think that was important. So
no, that's dope, man. And you're gonna do it, man. Just the way you plan. I didn't realize it was that big, to be honest. Like I knew you were a guy that picks up our sharps.
Yeah.
It's hella cool. But now that we had this interview, like, bro, and then the ideas that you have, just even with that shirt, the limited edition, is so smart because you have a relationship with a lot of artists that you could just blow up from there.
Yeah, even with the shirt, I mean, I got so many artists hitting me up and like, hey, I heard you're doing this. I want to make you a shirt. Let's collab. I want to do something with you.
How do you determine what artists to use?
It's gonna be over time.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm not expecting like, oh, I'm looking for the artist that has 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers. I'm looking for artists that I have good relationships with. Like, hey, you want to collab with MAG? Let's get your name out there. Let's collab together to where we can make a dope shirt to be able to expand, and you get some notoriety and you get that respect, and I get the same with releasing it with MAG and stuff like that. So it's just over time. This is our first one, so it's still all a process.
It's so smart idea, bro.
It's just it's small. I mean, it's a small thought that's only gonna grow. Yeah. I mean, even at the convention, people were coming that saw me posted a story about the shirt, and they came to the convention that they were already going to come to, but that gave me more of a initiative to be like, I wanted to come because I wanted that shirt. So I came, I want to buy that shirt.
Crazy,
and
right?
I was already going to come, but I saw your post, and I want to support you. I want that shirt.
Oh yeah.
So it's so funny. We made, I think, 100, and I think we have like 40 some left. Like, and they've only been released 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
2 weeks, and I'm literally, you could probably say I'm almost sold out.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they're going. We've shipped them to Minnesota. We've shipped them all across Southern California. People were asking for them because they're like, I don't want to miss out. Like, I want that shirt. And so,
And it doesn't stop there. You could even do thermals like we have right here. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
you could do hats, you know what I'm saying? Like limited edition, and it goes from there, bro.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's so
we're
smart.
about to, we're going to make sweaters. A lot of female artists are like, what's up with the crop tops? Like, give me the crop tops. Let me have that Meg. Now, that's all I wear. So we have so many ideas that we want to do.
That's good.
But
bro.
then at the same time, we got to look like, okay, do we have the money?
Yeah.
Because we have to buy all this stuff
Correct. Yeah.
essentially, and then we make our money back when we sell it. But
Yeah.
my wife's like, let's look at the numbers. Can we even afford to buy all this at the moment to drop
Exactly.
whatever it costs? You know.
Pay the screen printer
So-
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah.
So-
That's cool, man.
So we're gonna see you right there at the convention for Incon. You're picking up for them,
Yeah,
right?
we're picking up
So-
Incon. Joey, Incon Trusted Tattoo.
Mhm.
They hit us up, and we're their one of their sponsors, and
awesome, man.
it's our first annual, and we're excited to do that one.
Yeah.
It's something that I think the IE really needs
Yeah, for sure.
out here.
We'll
And
be
so-
there. So
We'll be
Yeah.
there.
See you.
Yeah, we officially got 3 booths there, so
Nice.
all our artists are planning to be there, and it's gonna be a good time.
Yep, it's gonna be fun. So
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Want to end it, Romeo?
Yeah, I'll end it. You know, before I end it, I just want to say, like, there's so many points in your story that stuck out to me. And, you know, as from you getting that envelope from your wife, you know, it just stood out to me to the fact that, you know, you're hustling. Shout out to Mama G. Hopefully I run into you one day and I could properly introduce myself. Respect to you and your family. Respect to you and your family, Adam. I really respect the fact that, you know, you're putting like the tattoo industry first almost in a way, you know, and then also the business side of it, you're business savvy too, you know. So, you know, I really respect hearing your story and your hustle. And thanks for coming, bro. If you guys like this, you know, feel free to subscribe to see more.